she came to your school, when she procures bids for ISU with construction, and came to your school and spoke to your staff for 2 straight days. Why did she do that? This is why she did that. This is why she did that. To make sure that when our...
Oh, she's mad. Why is she so mad? Hello and welcome. I am the Anti-Woke Warrior. I challenge all things woke. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's the only way that we can kind of combat some of this garbage that is trying to take over our civilization. It's everywhere, so the only thing we can do really is speak out about it. Let's see why this woman is so angry, though. She's mad about something.
To make sure that when our students want to know whether or not they have a vagina or a penis, they have pictures from your staff to be able to help them. They don't have enough sex. They don't have enough anal sex. They need adults to tell them how to masturbate. And what I call that is... So here's...
All right. So how old do you think that these students are that they're being taught this stuff? 5 years old. 5 years old. Now she has something really interesting to say right here. Watch this part. This is really good.
That's what I'm asking you. You have a hard time hearing this from me, but this is for 10 years old and up, and this bill was passed for 5-year-olds. And you have a hard time me sitting here telling you the words anal sex, masturbation. That's hard for you, or the time's up? Because the time's not really up. I don't believe you, Mr. Wiley, that my time is up. But I'm going to end with this. I'll close with this because this was too much for you. I can tell right now. And that's why you're cutting me off. But last time I said, you know what? Critical race theory. Little girl in the back was laughing every single time Megan said something because white people oppress black people, right? Isn't your principal black? Isn't your mayor black? Now I would like to introduce...
All right. Yeah, I'm so infuriated that this happened, but I am so glad to see that people are standing up to this, that people see right through it, that I'm not the only one, that you're not the only one. It's just outrageous, the stuff that we're exposing our children to. I don't know why it's happening. I have a lot of speculation, and maybe we'll get into some of that, but right now we're going to take a look at an article in the same vein here. Adult and parents enraged over masturbation videos for first graders. Yeah. You see they're scraping the bottom of the barrel when they're finding artists for these animations anymore. Let's take a look at this. Last fall, parents at the posh $55,000 per year Dalton School got wind of their first graders being taught sex ed lessons that include how to bait a hook. They complained to school administrators, but were told they had simply misinterpreted what Dalton's now notorious health and wellness educator, Justine Ang Fonte, who last month led a controversial and explicit Ornpay literacy workshop at another elite prep school, was teaching. But after the post expose last week on the prawn class, Dalton parents bombarded the school with more complaints about Fonte's curriculum, sources told the Post. The Post viewed a video of a cartoon Fonte used in one of her sex ed classes for 6-year-olds, showing little kids talking about touching themselves for pleasure. Yeah. We could look at this video here. This is kind of like a recap overview of the article and what's in the video. But we're gonna look at the video, the actual animation. It's like super cringe. You're not... Be prepared. Hey, how come sometimes my wiener gets big sometimes and points in the air? Asked the little boy in the cartoon, leading to an explanation of what that is. The boy nods and says, "Sometimes I touch my wiener because it feels good." What? You're 6. You're 6. I didn't do that when I was 6. I mean, wow. You're 6 years old. Then the little girl character chimes in. "Sometimes when I'm in the bath or when mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too." Okay, what the hell is wrong with this world? Fonte has reassured parents that she does not use the word baiting a hook in class and that her lessons teach kids not to touch themselves in public. They are also taught lessons about consent. While one mother conceded that teaching the concept of consent can be valuable in protecting children from abuse, another said telling kids that their own parents or grandparents should not touch them without first asking for permission is extreme. Literally, parents are supposed to say to their kids, "May I hug you?" one parent said. One mother said another parent told her, I'm paying $50,000 to these a-holes to tell my kid not to let her grandfather hug her when he sees her. Yeah. So let's take a look at the video. We'll do it now. And if you can stick around after, we'll finish the article. But this is, just prepare yourself.
Pass it, Squeaks!
Whoa! Watch it! You almost hit me in the pee-pee!
What's so funny, you two?
He said pee-pee.
Do you notice that when you say pee-pee, you giggle, but when you say penis, you say it in a serious voice?
No, I laugh with both of them. That's why I say wiener, because wiener's not funny.
I never noticed that before.
Some children and adults feel uncomfortable when they talk about their private parts, so they make up cute or funny names for them.
What's one for a girl's private parts?
Vajayjay!
But what does Scoops mean when he says vajayjay?
He means vulva.
That's right, Kayla.
She's 6. I didn't know the term vulva until I was like, I don't know, 18? 20? I don't even remember when I learned that term. This is ridiculous. These little kids are way too well educated on the subject matter.
It's important to use the proper words for our private parts.
Why?
Because our private...
Yeah, explain that to YouTube and the people that want to censor us. Furthermore, it's not important to use the proper terms for those things. How about thinking meat? I got my thinking. What about walking sticks? These are terms, they're not proper for different body parts, and it's okay to use them. It's not a big deal. We understand that we can kind of play with language.
Private parts are just as amazing as our hearts, lungs, brains, or any other of our amazing body parts.
But our hearts pump blood, our lungs breathe, and our brains think.
All our private parts do is pee!
That's not entirely true, Scoops. It is true that a person pees or urinates through a hole called the urethra.
Yes, 6-year-olds need to know the word urination. I didn't even know how to read when I was 6. Literally, I struggled very hard with reading. I didn't know the word little, for example. I could not read that word. This is ridiculous.
In the penis.
Does everyone have a urethra?
They do. It can be harder to see, but girls have a tiny hole in the front of the vulva where urine comes out from their urethra. Urination is actually very important.
Seriously, do we need the ray gun urination coming out here? This is... wow. So cringe.
It helps us get rid of waste, stuff our body doesn't need.
Hey, how come my penis gets big sometimes and points up in the air?
Okay, then, wow, that was just out of left field. So we're talking about urination and what other things that the reproductive organs supposedly do without actually talking about those things. And then all of a sudden this kid chimes in with this. Okay, then.
That's called an erection.
Did we actually, why, what the, are we, when I was that age, it was called a hard-on. I don't know. This is, oh, wow.
Sometimes I touch my penis because it feels good.
Oh, you don't. What? You're 6 years old. You don't. You don't. Does anybody do that when they're 6? No, you don't. Wow.
Good.
Sometimes, when I'm in my bath or when Mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too.
You have a clue.
Yeah. Okay. What the heck is going on here? This is not real. This is like, I just keep imagining this being shown in a school with these little kids, and they're just like, what the heck is, they're having the same reaction I am. They don't understand anything.
Clitoris there, Kayla, that probably feels good to touch the same way Keith's penis feels good when he touches it. But have you ever noticed that older kids and grown-ups don't touch their private parts in public?
They don't?
I don't think that the little kids do that either. I don't remember going around doing that. It's considered wrong.
That's right, Keith. It's okay to touch yourself and see how different body parts feel, but it's best to only do it in private.
Stop teaching these people that it's not shameful to touch yourself. It's very shameful. I don't care what you think. The truth is, it's very shameful. Human beings should be ashamed of doing things. So it keeps us human. You go around and say, oh, anything goes. Hey, it's free. Yeah, it's free for all. Hedonism all the way. What keeps us human is actually understanding that things are shameful.
Well, if private parts are so special, why do you cover them up?
Because they are private, silly.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think I even knew what the word private meant when I was 6. I think I knew what private parts were. And I knew what private parts meant, but I didn't know what the word private actually meant.
Kayla, because they are private.
Hey, Squeaks, pass it.
Wait!
All right, that's enough of that. That's the end anyway, basically. Wow. Okay, let's see if we can get through the rest of this article. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try. Fonte's lessons for first graders also include subjects such as gender reassignment at birth, gender identity, and gender expression. No, they don't. This is immoral. Why are you teaching people about gender assignment at birth? There's no such thing as gender assignment at birth. You either got one or you don't, or you got a combination of the two. That's what it comes down to. Gender identity is a thing that's made up by people who think that they should be something other than what they have between their legs. And gender expression is another thing that's made up by people who want to express themselves as the opposite gender. Kids have no less than 5 classes on... Really? Okay. They should have 0 classes on... They have at least 5, though. This is pure indoctrination. Yes, it is. A Dalton mother said, "This person should absolutely not be teaching children. Ironically, she teaches kids about consent, yet she has never gotten consent from parents about the sexually explicit and age-inappropriate material about transgender to first graders." Yes, this is 100% agreeable. "We are furious," a third Dalton mother told the Post. "We are horrified to learn this was shown to our first grade 6- and 7-year-old kids without our knowledge of or consent. But it's so hard to fight back because you'll be canceled and your child will suffer." Right. Age inappropriate? Yes. I was like 12 when I had sex ed. That's appropriate. I think most of the kids in my class were 11. I was a little bit older, but yeah, 11, 12, okay. Things are starting to change then. You're starting to learn about your bodies. Okay, makes sense. The second Dalton mother said, "I'm not against all sex ed, but it's not cool to keep parents in the dark about it." The parents spoke on a condition of anonymity because they are afraid of retaliation. The second mom hit back at Dalton administrators who she said are playing mind games with parents and not fessing up to what's really going on in classrooms. The school has said that only a small group of parents complained about Fonte's class last fall and that they misinterpreted the content. At the same time, however, the school quietly removed the video about kids touching themselves from the curriculum. You think? "We are not confused. We are, in fact, just seeing very clearly for the first time what a progressive education really means at Dalton," the mother said. "The fact that the school then gaslit parents into thinking we are confused is abysmal." Fonte's work at the school is reportedly funded by a $450,000 grant given to Dalton in 2012 by hedge and fund billionaire Bill Ackman's Pershing Square Foundation. Ackman's ex-wife Karen is on the Dalton Board of Trustees. What we are seeing across the country is that many schools have lost sight of the purpose of education and are hiding curriculum that teaches materials from parents. A spokesman for FAIR, the Foundation Against Intolerance and Racism, told the Post. Now, FAIR, I've checked them out. They seem to be on the same page with me. They have some of the same actors, the more well-known actors that are speaking out against. I don't mean actors isn't Hollywood actors. I mean people who are acting against this. People who are speaking out against wokeness because it's garbage. Last week, the Post reported on Fonte's workshop, Prawn Literacy, an intersectional focus on mainstream prawn at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School. Really? You kidding me? A grammar school, they're teaching prawn. The often explicit slide presentation. Oh, often explicit, great. That's just what we need to see with little kids. Slide presentation and lecture 120 co-ed juniors included how prawn takes care of 3 big male vulnerabilities. What are these? I want to know what these 3 big male vulnerabilities are, because I don't watch prawn. I don't feel like I have vulnerabilities as a man. Statistics on the orgasm gap shown straight women have far fewer orgasms with their partners than gay men or women, and photos of partially nude women, some in bondage, to analyze what is prawn and what is art. Okay, so there's this O gap here. Oh my goodness, so terrible, horrible. I don't believe it. I can tell you exactly why. My goal with intimacy is to make the woman have an orgasm. That's it. Fonte's presentation included a list of most searched ORNPay terms in 2019, including cream pie anal, gangbang, stepmom, and more. Yeah. Okay. This is being taught to little children, prepubescent children. Shortly after the Post published the Columbia prep story last week, its head of school, Dr. William Donahue, sent a conciliatory email to school parents saying that the content and tone of the presentation did not represent our philosophy, which is to educate our students in ways that promote their personal development and overall health, as well as to express respect for them as individuals. It was unfortunate that we did not better inform ourselves of the speaker's specific content in advance. I apologize. Going forward, we will certainly learn from this experience. Wow, you people are terrible educators. Your school is getting paid $55,000 a year from each parent for each student. How many students? You had 120 students there, and you can't take an hour out of your day to go, what is this actually going to be teaching? Fonte has not responded to repeated requests from the Post for comment, because she's evil. A Dalton spokesman said, as part of Dalton's comprehensive health curriculum for students, a lesson on gender and bodies includes 2 evidence-based and age-appropriate videos approved for students 4 years and older. These videos align with nationally recognized methodologies and standards. No, they don't. This is not something that schools should be teaching to students, especially not at 4 years old. I don't care how kid-friendly it is. I don't care if it's like really like very basic. You urinate here, you know. Peeing is actually called urination, and it comes out of your urethra. That's where it comes from in your body, you know. It comes out of your bladder. I don't care if that's even it. None of this stuff needs to be taught to little children like this. We consistently review our health curriculum, making sure that the content is developmentally appropriate, and if necessary, we adapt our curriculum accordingly. We will continue to listen carefully to parent feedback, respond thoughtfully to community concerns, and develop lessons that are in the best interest of our students, respect our community's values, and correspond with best practices. We pass over the picture. Yeah, here she is. This is Justine Ang Fonte. Yeah, she looks like she's a progressive nightmare, doesn't she? Ugh. Probably claims to be non-binary, gender fluid. She has a piercing in her nose. Not appropriate for little children to see that in an instructor, teacher. They're not instructors, they're teachers. Yeah. I wonder if some of this is to do with this notion. There is a notion going around that we need to introduce children to reproduction so that they will be better prepared for molestation, and we can actually then stop demonizing, stigmatizing child molesters, because, you know, the kids will want it. I don't care if children want this. They don't. That doesn't matter. They still shouldn't have it. You don't have children engage in adult activities. And you might be saying, well, how do you define an adult activity? This is very clearly an adult activity because, or at least an adolescent activity at the worst, because you can't reproduce when you're so young. Yeah, I know it can happen. The youngest mother on record is 4 years old. I get that. It can happen to very young children. But the vast majority of kids are not going to be able to reproduce until they're like 12, 13, 14 years old. So you don't introduce this sort of stuff to them at this age. It's just ridiculous. Wow. This one was rough. Anyway, thank you for watching. I do appreciate you stopping by. If you made it this far, thank you for watching to the end. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.